would like to invite our spotlight speaker, Mr. Manoj Kumar, founder at Social Alpha. Mr. Kumar is the founder of Social Alpha, a multi-stage incubation cum investment platform for high-impact startups that aim to solve the most critical social, economic, and environmental challenges. Social Alpha focuses on lab-to-market enablement and supports mission-driven entrepreneurs through a network of innovation labs, venture incubators, accelerator programs, seed funds, and market access mechanisms. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Kumar, and we look forward to learning from you.
Thank you, Yamini. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a privilege to come on this platform and talk about what we do and the role of innovation and entrepreneurship in solving India's development sector problems. Good afternoon to everyone. Since the topic is related to corporate social responsibility and its role in innovation and entrepreneurship, let me start by recognizing the amazing entrepreneurial spirit that created the corporates in the first place, right? A lot of philanthropy happens around the world because someone took entrepreneurial risk at some point of time. Whether it's Gates Foundation or Tata Trust or Rockefeller, almost all philanthropic foundations actually came out of the wealth that was created by entrepreneurial risk-taking by several people. And corporations have an amazing ability to innovate, because if you really want to be successful for several years and have a long-term winning advantage, as every corporation wants to win in the marketplace, they need to create long-term sustainable competitive advantage against their competitors. So corporations internally know how important it is to innovate in order to remain competitive and in order to be successful in their own markets. Now, just replace this paradigm with the development sector. Who are we competing with? We are competing with poverty. We are competing with underdevelopment. We are competing with oppression and inequity. Unlike corporate world, we are not competing with each other. We are not competing among the development sector players. There is a common enemy here that we have to defeat: generate livelihoods, improve income, reduce the cost of healthcare, improve access to education, provide nutrition, and solve the problem of hunger. So if you look at the competition in the development sector, in order to defeat that competition, why can't we use the power of innovation and entrepreneurship? The same power of innovation and entrepreneurship that caused industrial revolution and that has been year after year, decade after decade, centuries after century, has been fueling economic growth throughout the world. The same power that fueled economic growth can also fuel social justice, can also solve the problem of climate challenges. And that is what I'm going to highlight today in the next 10 minutes. That how power of innovation and entrepreneurship can solve some of the most complex development sectors that we face today. Most complex problems in development sectors, let me start with education itself. Looks very simple. Every day you have new edtech startups mushrooming and getting funded. But there have been situations where access to education, despite technology, has been a big challenge. And that's where corporations step in. So I can give you an example of two big companies, Accenture and Cisco. Accenture supported a very innovative enterprise called Now Gurukul that provided computer science education, programming skills to kids from the underprivileged background in a Gurukul kind of an environment. The beauty of quality of education imparted by the founders of this startup was that after the training, they got placed in some of the corporations at a very reasonable compensation package, and actually ended up paying for that education that they were imparted. And it happened because of corporate CSR policies. And design of Accenture. Another example is Cisco, where Cisco supported Mekshala, another edtech enterprise, to create teach kits which could be implemented in some of the states in India, empowering teachers in the classroom. Let me give you another example from assistive technologies space. Disability is a big problem. A large number of interventions in disability have been either through government intervention or through charity. But another corporation called Mphasis, through their CSR, actually created a model where innovators were provided support for market validation of their new technologies. And eventually these innovators and entrepreneurs were able to do not only the validation, but also in some cases, clinical trials, and take these solutions to market by showing data and demonstrating the successful pilots. There are several examples where corporate CSR has actually participated in the creation of solutions, in the validation of these solutions by providing sandboxes and trial opportunities, but also creating market access opportunities. There have been incidences where CSR funds have been used to provide market access in cases where there exists a significant gap between price of a solution and the point of affordability for the consumer. Entrepreneurship has the potential to create long-term, sustainable, and scalable impact. Entrepreneurs take entrepreneurial risk to solve the problems. On one hand, we have historically looked at entrepreneurship as a very selfish money-making motive, but the fact is there are several entrepreneurs who work in areas like healthcare, who work in areas like agriculture, who work in areas like water, sanitation, who work in areas like climate change. And invariably, it is not possible for most of these entrepreneurs to raise capital from mainstream capital markets. The capital that is required to create prototypes, capital that is required to build solutions, capital that is required to test and access market is not very easily available. If you look at the startup ecosystem in the country, you will see that mainstream investments are limited to certain areas. Earlier, they were limited to IT services. Then we went through a phase where they were limited to e-commerce and payment. And then we have seen a phase where they are limited to microfinance and NBFCs or so-called impact investing. There is very little capital that is available for innovation. Most of the organizations that support and encourage innovations are either government organizations or philanthropic organizations. And therefore, it is really important for corporate CSR to look at innovation as the tool for creating impact. But innovation alone will not work. Innovation alone can give you a prototype. Innovation alone can give you an intellectual property right. Innovation alone can give you a paper that is published in one of the finest journals. But innovation alone will not create the impact. You need a mechanism to take innovation from lab to market, and that mechanism is entrepreneurship. And it is therefore really important for corporate CSR organizations and their leaders to understand that when they support innovation and entrepreneurship, it has the potential to create much deeper and irreversible impact. Let me quote a couple of more examples. A few years back, we worked with Titan. Titan supported 8 innovators, entrepreneurs in design for manufacturing, in design for user acceptability. The whole focus was on helping innovators improve the design of their solutions so that these solutions are better acceptable in the market, can reduce the cost and make products and solutions more accessible. DBS Singapore worked with 4 social entrepreneurs to scale up their ideas and refine their business models so that they can accelerate and scale the impact. Assistive technologies company is called Tectopus for product development and market access both. So they're very progressive examples of companies like Cisco, Mphasis, Accenture, Titan, DBS. I can continue to name some of them who have understood the power of supporting innovators and entrepreneurs throughout their product lifecycle. The key is to make sure that the capital is available through the product development and product management process and not just in the segments. Unlike mainstream capital markets where you have venture capital or private equity or incubators who are doing only one part of the story, right? Or you have an organization that says we only incubate. You have another organization that says we only run accelerator program. You have another fund that says we only invest once you have revenue proof. But CSR funds can actually support a company in its life cycle on its journey till it becomes profitable, it can access market and start creating impact. That requires a longer term view of innovation. Can we support a company through CSR funds for a longer duration? Right from product creation to market access. And that takes me to another aspect of this. Having a long-term corporate CSR policy that supports innovation and entrepreneurship means that you work with a partner who has ability to bring in additional capital to match your outlay. If my CSR budget is only 5 crore rupees a year, I can still leverage this to invest 5x investment if I can insist that my partners raise more capital from their own resources or other partners so that the program that I co-design with my partner for innovation and entrepreneurship is successful. Innovation and entrepreneurship take time and consume capital, and therefore having an aggregated view of capital and a resource allocation model that allows us to allocate resources on progress in tranching is very important. If we have a performance linked tranching mechanism for deployment of capital, and if we have multiple capital providers, be it from corporate CSR or philanthropy or government, working together to achieve those milestones, then the impact of CSR is magnified. There is an opportunity for CSR investment to get impact multipliers by bringing other people to work on the same projects. I'll give you another example where Mphasis and BIRAC work together. Mphasis corporate CSR and BIRAC, which is Government of India Agency for Promoting Innovations in Life Sciences, they came together to bring in half of the entire project budget each to create an assistive technology program that ran over 2 years and actually supported about 12 startups for pilots, validations, and market access. Alone, each one of these organizations would have done only half of that. So working with institutions and organizations to further accelerate impact of corporate CSR by creating impact multipliers ensures that you can create a scalable model for impact and you can reduce the risk of your CSR project significantly. So let me recap. Innovation and entrepreneurship has absolutely fantastic opportunity to create impact. Innovation and entrepreneurship can create non-linear impact and solve problems in an irreversible way. Corporate CSR can improve the quality of entrepreneurship and help entrepreneurs take innovations from lab to market, because corporations know how to do business and corporations know the importance of innovation in creating competitive advantage. Working with right partners, corporate CSR can improve the impact of their CSR investment by creating impact multipliers much more than the money they are putting on the table. And this approach can create significant social, economic, and environmental impact, be it healthcare, education, climate change, water and sanitation, agriculture, or livelihoods. Innovation and entrepreneurship can create deep impact in all these sectors if corporate CSR money is deployed to accelerate the impact of innovation. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, you can send it across to me or my colleagues at Social Alpha. Thank you very much.